Hello and welcome or welcome back. I am Melissa of Crochet Mom Creation. And today we are going to do a bit of market recapping. Since I was away all summer and ghosted y'all, I had 5 markets over between May and September. And it's going to go over what kind of things were selling, what I noticed, and what all went down at the market. I did not get a whole lot of footage at the market. I am really, really bad at filming in public, but I am working on it. We will get there eventually. Um, so we have a bunch of things to do today. I have packages to send out. I have to get those all packaged up. I have one I still have to make, and that's just done with some iron-on vinyl. It's a bag, and I picked that stuff up this morning. I also had to pick up some more mailer bags because I don't send a whole lot out, so I didn't have any left. Garbage everywhere. What else do I have to do? I have some kind of parent form I have to fill out here for one of my kiddos. What are they doing? Archery. Oh, archery. Okay, he'll enjoy that. All right, so let's get into it. So in May, I did a bear fair market. I believe I talked about it in one of my other videos before I went MIA. And it was at a high school in Brooklyn, and that's Brooklyn, Ontario. And it was not great. I spent $100 for the table, and I also ordered some new things to put on my table to kind of bring the height up and give me a little more space. And I didn't make my money back between what I spent on those squares. I don't even know what they're called. I will link them in the description because I'm going to show you some pictures and a couple of videos I did take. Yeah, I didn't make my money back. It was dead. There was just no customers. I don't know if it wasn't advertised well or what the issue was, but there was just no customers. Also, for the size of the market, there's another crocheter there too, which usually doesn't bother me because I try to make stuff that not everybody's doing or stuff that I know sells really, really well, regardless of how many crocheters are at a market. And I actually had a girl, a teenage girl, really sweet. Pardon me, I still have this cold that just will not go away. She purchased something from the other crochet vendor, and then she came to my table. And she was so upset that she had purchased something from the other crocheter that she actually went back to the other crocheter and got a refund so she could buy something from my table. I felt awful for the other crocheter that happened. And I'm thankful for the sale, of course. And it surprises me how people treat handmade vendors, businesses, whichever, like Walmart. I have had people try to haggle prices from me, get upset with me because they think what I'm making should be cheaper. And I try to, explain to them, the fly in here. Sorry, that fly was driving me crazy. I also filled out my kids' form while I was trying to find the fly to kill it. So yeah, I can't believe how many people treat us like Walmart. It's or even worse than Walmart. Like you can't go into Walmart and haggle prices. Like, hey, this didn't take long to make. Can you give it to me cheaper? So, yeah, there's been a lot of that lately. Anywho, Bear Fair was not good. Barely made my money back. Like, I didn't make my money back after I'd spent money on upgrading some of my displays. And then June 7th, I did a street festival in Toronto on Lakeshore Boulevard. It was the grilled cheese challenge. And it was a fantastic day from start to finish. The organizers stopped by, asked me if I needed anything, welcomed me, made sure everything was good to go for me if I needed any help with setting up. Um, we were right in the middle of the street, so people were walking behind and in front, which kind of was a little more difficult to set up because there was views from pretty much every angle. We ended up setting up the tent because there was a side street right beside us, and then I was the first tent. So I ended up setting up with the front and the side kind of in and out. I'll show you pictures. It's kind of hard to explain. It was kind of a mess, but it worked. Um, it was a really great show, lots of fun, people coming around talking. Um, Sales wise, keychains are always a hit. I sold, oh, I have it here. Item sales for June 7th. Where are we here? They sold 112 keychains. I sold the keychains for at that show because it was a bigger show, table fee was more. They were $10 each or 3 for 20 or buy two get one free. Usually I sell my keychains for $5, but I wanted to make sure I recouped my my vendor fee and my insurance, table rentals and all that. Um so the grilled cheese challenge, I made over $1,900 and it ran from 10 a.m. till I believe 8 p.m. Again, it was really well set up. Everything was organized properly. There was music, there was food. The grilled cheese challenge, of course, was going on. And my hubby's uh, local celebrity friend stopped by, Toronto Mike. I don't know if any of you are into like the radio media scene in Toronto and Ontario, but Toronto Mike, he has a podcast and he has all those people on who were on like City TV and CP24 and the radio stations. Not really my thing, but my husband loves him. And he stopped by. That was great to meet him in person. And let's see what sold. Dumpster fires. I sold every single one I had, and I brought 8 dumpster fires. They all sold. Put a picture of them up there for you. Chickens on swings. I sold out at every market I did this summer with chickens on swings. I don't know what it was, but the chicken on swings got a ton of attention. Next, we did the Home Sweet Home Festival in Whitby, which is downtown, like 2 minutes from my house. And Whitby needed this. Like, we did not have any kind of festival, downtown gathering, nothing like that. We needed this. And it was great. The community came out and supported everybody, and the local politicians were out and about talking to everybody. And it was a great day. The weather was beautiful. It misted a little bit first thing in the morning, but overall, it was fantastic. Even the Whitby employees who were just down from us working at the side street to make sure vehicles didn't come through and then opening and closing first to load in and out. They were absolutely fantastic as well. Okay, money wise, home sweet home. I made about $1,200, maybe a little bit over. Let me see here. The fly is back. I thought it killed it. So the Home Sweet Home Festival, $1,200 in and around. My best sellers were. I'm not sure why that's not telling me this. Well done. Okay, keychains. Of course, I sold 36 keychains and I dropped my price back down for the Whippy Home Sweet Home back down to $5 each. Capybaras, the pattern by the Friendly Red Fox. Perfect. I sold all 8 that I had. Chickens on swings. Again, I had 3 of each. I sold out all of them. Fuzzy spiders. Okay, so I'll put the pattern here. And instead of using plush yarn, I used, actually I have some here because I'm working on something else with this stuff. Feels Like Bliss. And I used blue and purple and green. I think I had 4. I sold all 4. And they are the cutest made with Feels Like Bliss. I'm telling you, you need to try that. What else did we sell a lot of? Axolotls. My goodness, axolotls, Crochet Grove's baby axolotl pattern, I'll put it up here, is spot on. It's super quick to make. It takes me like 15 minutes to do them. And I had 16 of them and I sold all of them. So don't sleep on that one. The Triceratops pattern that I put in last week's video, Tilly the Triceratops, and I had all the colors. That video was technically from before I did this market. I don't have any of them left. Between the Whippy Home Sweet Home Festival and the Oshawa Convergence Festival, I sold all of them. I think there was 8. They're all gone. And I sold them for $18 each, and I have none of them left. Dumpster fires, again, they sell really well at every market as long as the attendance is there. Keychains, always the best seller because they're cheap. They're like a shut up toy. Here, we'll buy you something, just stop bugging us kind of thing. The most popular keychains are usually whales, mushrooms, and strawberries. They sell very, very well. Let's look in here, see what else sold. I get the odd sale for something that's not a plushie that I've made. At the grilled cheese challenge, I did sell a beautiful like blue and white ombre wild oleander scarf by Wickedly Handmade. And I used these cloud cakes, but I did it in the blue teal color. So it started out like teal and then went to the white. I sold that. What else did water bottle bags? They were really popular in it because it was really hot and everybody was carrying around water bottles. And I sold three of them. Usually I don't sell those; they just kind of sit there. So I was really happy those sold because they've been sitting there. Mallards. Mallards sold really, really well. I sold 5 of them, and I used this pattern here. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right, I'm back. I had to take a quick break because I still have that cold and I had my thyroid removed, so talking a lot kind of irritates my throat. So double fold with the cold and change of scenery. I figured you guys were kind of sick of staring at my dining room, and of course, y'all want to see the yarn anyway. So where were we? Home Sweet Home Festival in Whitby. It was it was really good. Again, $1,200 ish and around there. Lots of stuff for the kids to do. They had like a zip line, lots of kids running around, which is always good for me. Same things kind of sold as the grilled cheese festival, keychains, anything on a swing, axolotls always sell really, really well. Capybaras, dumpster fires, they're like my bread and butter. So next we did, and when I say we, I mean me and my family, because when I have a show, they have a show. Hubby helps out, he helps set up, he is logistics, he finds the parking, he gets the coffee, he is my support. You're gonna do great. He is fantastic. I love him so much. And he supports all the crazy stuff that I do. My kids come with me. They help me set up. They make suggestions on what is popular at school with the kids so that I kind of know what is popular. They're like my research team. Also, my daughters, they have learned to use the Square app. If you're not using Square for markets, you're sleeping on that. $1,900 at the grilled cheese challenge. I think my transaction fees are about $36. So it's super easy. Just sign up. You can actually use your phone to take payments, or you can buy the little white square. I think it was $60 plus tax at Best Buy when I got it last year. Definitely a good idea. It's so much easier than having your email address displayed somewhere and having them to put in your email address and send the email transfer. It's just so much easier to be like, okay, you can tap here. I don't know how the Venmo and all that works in the States. I know here in Canada, use a Square. It's super simple. And even my daughters who are 10 and 12 have figured out how to use it. I've taught them how to use it. They can put in cash transactions, they can do card transactions, and it's a great experience for them. So then, what did we do? I have my notes here. We did the Westland Fall Fair, which I do every year because that's my children's school. And historically, I have done very well. It runs from 5 until 7, so 2 hours. And last year I did, I'm gonna say almost $900 or almost $800 last year. This year I barely cleared 300. Are you noticing a downward trend here? Like the Bear Fair, that was an attendance issue. It was not well advertised. It just not not a good market. But we're seeing a downward trend in markets. I don't like doing schools anymore, other than my children's school. And this was a decision we made after the Bear Fair because it did go so poorly. Schools are looking for money, to be honest. They're having these markets, Christmas markets, fall fairs, stuff like that. They're trying to make money for their school. They're not looking at how many vendors they have, what the vendors are selling. If there's multiple vendors of a certain category, they're just looking for people to come in and spend money. A lot of them charge an entry fee, which I try to stay away from because I find that when you do a market with an entry fee, I feel like based on my own sales, People are less inclined to buy while they're there because they've already paid to get in. Now, the schools, again, they're looking for money to support their school. They're not going through all the advertising, the motions to get the people in because they assume that by sending out letters to the parents and having that school community is going to be enough. Putting out not billboards, but like, um, what's that paper called? Crystal board signs that says, oh, craft sale here, Christmas market here is going to be enough. They're not putting any money into advertising to get the people in to buy from their vendors. So no more schools for me, unless it's my kids' school because it's my kids' school. I have to support them. Whether I make anything or not, that's their school. I'm going to support our home school. So this fall fair was 2 hours and I made just over $300. And last year I made just over 7, almost 8 in that 2 hours. So we are definitely seeing a downward trend in what we're making at markets right now. I don't have any markets planned for the rest of the year. I'm looking for something that will suit because, like I said, I don't want to do the schools anymore because it ends up being a waste of my time. If I'm only going to make $200 at a market and I have to go rent my tables, which cost me, it's not a lot. It's like $20 to rent 3 tables and a bunch of weights for my tent. But it's the gas going to and from the place where I get my tables, the drop off, the pickup. It's the gas in my own vehicle to get to the school. And then it's my entire day, as well as my husband and my kids shop for $200. Now, I always have a stock of plushies that I could literally go to a market tomorrow and not worry about not having enough stuff. But for the schools, I was buying extra yarn to make more keychains because they're a huge seller. And I was wasting that money for these small little shows to barely make my table money back. And these schools are charging 75, 100, $125 for one 6-foot table. One spot, 6-foot table, 2 chairs. The Grilled Cheese Challenge, I only paid $133 with tax for a 10 by 10 space, and I made $1,900. The Home Sweet Home Festival here in Whitby, I believe it was either $75 or $100 that I paid for the 10 by 10 spot. So if I'm spending that kind of money on a 10 by 10 spot and making 10 times my table fee, when I go to a school and I'm paying $75, $100, $125 for a 6-foot table, and I'm not making my table money back, what money I paid just to be there, let alone my gas, my food, my travel, it's not worth it. Like it doesn't monetarily make sense. So I'm on the lookout for something that will work for us for the Christmas season. I actually just posted a bunch of the plushies that I had left over on Facebook Marketplace. Not usually something I do. I don't know. It kind of feels, I don't know. For me, it kind of feels cheap to put stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but we're going to try it out, see what happens. I posted 15 or 16 plushies a couple days ago. No bites on anything yet. So we'll see what happens. I am working on a custom order right now for a realistic looking tabby cat. I think it's a tabby. I'm not sure. And the coloring is giving me some challenges because I'm using Feels Like Bliss, and I don't feel like the colors really match up for this cat, but we're working on it. I'll show you some pictures of what I've got done so far. You definitely have to brush out the Feels Like Bliss once it's done to really get that fur look to it, I think. I'm hoping it works out the way I want it to. And then we come to the Oshawa Convergence Festival. Now, where do I start on this one? Little to no contact with the organizers. We got an email like 2 days before showing us where we can pull up our vehicles to load in, load out. A waiver that we wouldn't leave early, there's a couple of things they didn't want us to do, which was fine. When we got there first thing in the morning, we had a time we had to be out of the road with our vehicles by 10 o'clock. That's fine. I was there at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. And there were already a ton of vendors there. Now, we were not given spot numbers until we got there. It was basically a first come, first served situation. A couple of reasons why I don't like that. One, I was one of the first vendors to sign up. I contacted them as soon as I saw the date. They weren't even like doing registration or anything yet. Paid them and had everything ready to go months in advance. I'm talking, I had this booked back in April, and it wasn't till September 20th that this show was going, or the convergence was going on. Now, first come, first serve for the vendors coming in. This road is a one-way road. It is in the middle of downtown Oshawa. There is nowhere to turn around. There's next to no room to maneuver your vehicle because there's already vendors on the road with their tents up, their stuff out. Now, I understand why they did it on a first come, first served basis at getting there that morning. It made the most sense. However, this created not only a bottleneck of people, of vendors trying to get into a spot to get their stuff into the vehicle and their vehicle out. We were actually backed on to the road where it wasn't closed, causing traffic jams because we had to like go up the road, talk to a person. They would tell us, okay, take the next spot right here or right there. And then we'd have to turn our vehicles around on a two-lane, one-way road. Now that's confusing. So again, this created a problem where there was no rhyme or reason to what vendors were where. It worked out that 2 vendors down from me was another crocheter. I've said this before. I don't mind when there's other crocheters at markets. We generally sell different stuff, have a different style, even different yarn because I use a lot of Sweet Snuggles Light, Parfait Chunky. I really like the Loops and Threads Petite Pearl, and what's the other one? Skinny Chenille. And I use a lot of the Michaels yarn, Parfait Chunky. A lot of the other vendors I've run into are working with Bernat Blanket. If you've watched my other videos, I don't like Bernat Blanket. I have a little bit down there, but I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. It's just a texture thing for me. So it was all right. However, putting us that close together when you're basically selling the same things, it's detrimental to the vendor because now people are walking by, they see them, 2 more down, they see another one. We start getting comments like, oh, great, another crochet vendor. it's boring. Even when I go to markets to scope out what the scene is like, what the other vendors are like, what the attendance is like, I get bored when I see 5 people making jewelry, 3 people making sublimation tumblers, 5 crocheters, 4 people selling dog treats. Mix it up. There are enough vendors and types of vendors out there that you do not have to have more than 2, depending on how many vendors you have in total, of each category. Mix it up, because even as a customer, I'm bored. I don't want to spend money to get in somewhere to potentially make a purchase from somebody, and every row I walk down or walk in a circle, there are 5 or 6 people selling all the same things. Not only is that giving the organizer a bad name, but it's not conducive to the vendor to make money. And it's not conducive to the shopper who wants to come and see something different, who wants to see something that sparks some kind of emotional attachment to something. When everybody's selling the same thing, it's boring. Okay. Money-wise, Oshawa Conversions didn't do that great. Again, we're seeing that downturn of profits right now, $900, give or take. It was a chilly day, very windy. We ended up putting the sides on the tent. Kids were kind of complaining a little bit about being cold. Is what it is. We're outside. I don't know. I'm still kind of stuck on that being 2 stalls down from another crocheter. And I know they didn't do too well. They looked very unhappy when they left. And the gentleman who's packing everything up was kind of tossing things around. So probably wasn't a great show for them either. Again, at this market, a lot of the same stuff sold. Keychains, anything on a swing, chickens on a swing were really popular. Axolotls, of course, I sell out of those every time. Something I didn't mention, the Westland Fun Fair and the Oshawa Convergence were 2 days apart. So Thursday we were at the school with the kids after school for the fall festival or fall fair. And then Saturday we were in Oshawa. So thankfully I didn't sell that much at the fall fair. So I still had tons of stock for the Oshawa Convergence. We didn't have to like panic make anything, which was really, really nice. But I was exhausted. Absolutely. I don't know how people do 2 and 3 day markets. Like it's a lot. Well then, so we've gone over all the markets I've done since May. I hope maybe you learned something. I'm going to do some more market videos. I'm going to start getting better at doing videos out in public where I show you setting up, tearing down during the market, talking to people, all that fun stuff. And that's likely not going to be till spring because it's not looking too good for finding something suitable for the Christmas season. So I will see you on the next one. You have a great week. Bye.